Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the Bundesliga show, brought to you by Over the Bar. We are back tonight for some more predictions ahead of match week 21 of the Bundesliga, and we've got some pretty epic ties to look at. So really looking forward to getting stuck into this. Obviously, see that David, BVB, David's already put in a couple of predictions as well. So we'll go through those alongside you, David. Before we do and get kicked off, if you can smash a thumbs up on the video, that would be muchly appreciated. Of course, comment along whether whilst we're live, be fantastic. Your predictions and even afterwards would be most welcome. And of course, subscribe to the channel. So let's get stuck into it, Mark. Obviously, there's been quite a lot of footy going on midweek, although it's been one Pokal game fewer as the Saarbrücken match never took place, which is obviously a shame. But obviously we had the game that you covered with Peter and the Mainz Union fixture as well, which I think Peter went to. So we've had a decent amount of footy as well to enjoy midweek, which has been great. But all focused back on the league now, and Friday night you're gonna kick us off with a bit of Dortmund Freiburg, which should be a very entertaining match.
Yeah, I am. It's an interesting curtain raiser, isn't it? Obviously, two sides who are in the top 7 currently and are going to be looking towards European football next year. Maybe neither side is really hitting the heights that they managed last year, because obviously both sides had stellar seasons last year for the large part. But I still think this is going to be an interesting game. There's normally quite a few goals when these two sides play as well. And I think, Dortmund last week were disappointing in that 0-0 draw against Heidenheim. I think myself and Peter both tipped a draw, but we tipped a score draw. But it doesn't really surprise us the fact they came unstuck in Heidenheim for that game. You're going to be looking for a little bit more from the likes of Füllkrug, Malen, and Sancho, for me, hasn't really fully got going since his return as of yet. He's had a couple of assists, but generally it hasn't been stellar kind of form. As for Freiburg, I think they've been disappointing the last 2 weeks, obviously with 3-1 defeats back-to-back. The likes of, they probably need to strengthen in the full-back areas. They are lacking a little bit there at the minute. With Makengo, it's just far too attacking at times, and Sildilia, in a similar situation. So you definitely imagine that the Dortmund wide forwards are going to get a lot of opportunity to get in behind that Freiburg defence. And as a result, and also looking at the past history of these two sides in recent years, I think it's going to be a big Dortmund win today, actually. Last week I tipped them to draw, but today I'm going to go for a 4-1 home win, actually.
4-1. Wow, yeah, big stuff. BVB David has said 3-1 Dortmund. So going with the Dortmund home win there. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts, David, on how BVB performed last week and obviously then going into this Friday game as well. I've got Union versus Wolfsburg. This is a tricky one, of course, because we never know quite what Wolfsburg side we're going to get. In what obviously will be a packed out house, in Berlin. Strong presence. Obviously, the draw was okay for Union midweek, but it doesn't necessarily help them out that much with the game in hand. They'll be targeting this one for sure, and I could see them getting a positive result out of it. I just never am sure the characteristics that Wolfsburg show and whether they have those strong characters to get them through tough away matches where they're going to need to, be in a bit of a scrap, be in a bit of a battle. So I'm tentatively going to back Union. I'm going to go 1-0.
Yeah, interesting one. Yeah, an old school 1-0 Union home win. Yeah, and then Eintracht Frankfurt versus Bochum. Most people have Frankfurt on their accumulators in this game. Most people strongly fancy the home side, but Frankfurt have been a strange team this year because they've done so well against the bigger teams. They thrashed Bayern Munich. They beat Leipzig in Leipzig. They should have beaten Dortmund at home too in that entertaining 3-3 draw. But when it comes to playing the lesser teams, in inverted commas, lesser teams, they've really struggled at times, and obviously culminating in that 2-0 defeat in Köln last week, which was just not good enough, really, the performance. They're going to be missing Tuta, obviously, for the game, due to his red card as well. So it's going to be, and obviously, and Kunku as well is going to also miss the game, which is a big blow for them. So we've got 2 suspensions. Bochum, they're going very well, actually. If it wasn't for those 2 last-minute equalisers conceded against Werder and Augsburg, they'd be pretty much safe by now. And I don't see any worries for them getting dragged into the bottom 3 picture, in truth. But I think the game is probably bigger for Frankfurt, in truth, because, if they want to continue those, European ambitions, they have to win this game because they've had a couple of dodgy results in recent times, that draw against Darmstadt as well. I would imagine we'll see the likes of Chai be unleashed as well, because Van der Beek has really not done it at all since returning. And to be honest, Kalajdzic has also disappointed me a touch, so I wouldn't be surprised to see Etitike come in as well, the signing from PSG. So I'm going to go for a home win. I think it's going to be a 3-1 home win, simply because they've got to win this one, really, Frankfurt, for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Hard to disagree there. The next one looks like a fairly strong home banker for me. I know much like Frankfurt and much like Wolfsburg, Gladbach have been fairly unpredictable this season as well. But I don't think their performances have been that far off. I think I was probably talking about this on the show on Monday. And they are, generally speaking, quite strong at home. I think pending the 2-1 home loss against Augsburg, they beat Stuttgart, for example, in recent times, and haven't lost at home for a little while before that. I think their last home loss was back in 2023 against Leipzig. So, yeah, they're strong at home. Darmstadt away from home are even worse, and obviously, are really struggling still. Tricky one to kind of do too much kind of positivity around Darmstadt at the moment, because they just don't score enough goals. So I will say a 3-0 for Gladbach for me. I think they'll go strong in this one.
Yeah, and then 4 out of 4 home wins so far, and then obviously Werder Bremen, one of the form teams in the Bundesliga at the minute, 7 games unbeaten, and they've won the last 3 as well. But ironically, Heidenheim are also 7 games unbeaten with 3 wins and 4 draws, but they've drawn the last 4, whereas Bremen have won the last 3. So obviously, you'd say Bremen are in slightly the better form, but both of these sides have improved so much as the season's gone on. I've been really, really impressed with what Frank Schmidt and Ole Werner have managed to do at their respective clubs. I think fantastic work. I criticised Zeta earlier on in the season, but he's done really, really well in this unbeaten run, really.
Yeah.
Made some big saves in all of those games. And the defence, for the first time since they came back in the Bundesliga, Bremen, they're starting to look like a solid defence now, which is really big. And Bremen have got big hopes for this season. I think European football is not out of their reach as things stand. And you would fancy them to get the home win here. Heidenheim are very hard to beat now, which has been an improvement on the early part of the season as well, because at that time they scored goals, but they conceded more. That was the issue. But now the goals conceded have stopped pretty much completely, and the likes of Bester, Kleindienst are still going to cause problems for that Bremen defense. But I just think Bremen are really onto something at the minute, and they're a mixture of quality going forward within Jinma and Dux, and then also quality at the back at the minute. So I actually see a 2-0 home win here to make it 5 out of 5 home wins. I'm not sure we've had that before, Rory.
Who knows what's going to happen with this next one, because FC Augsburg taking on RB Leipzig is quite an interesting game, presentable from the case that Augsburg have been, again, one of the most improved sides since undertaking a new head coach. Obviously, Leipzig have not started 2024 very well. Their form has been a bit patchy. They'll have a lot more of a feel-good factor in, obviously, in terms of getting over the line against Union Berlin, of course, with goals from Openda and Šeško. So that, again, great from a confidence point of view for their strikers. I think they'll need to be goals in this one because Augsburg never know when they're beaten. Oh, God, what am I going to go for in this? I might have to go for a sit on the fence draw, to be honest. But I can see goals in it. I can see Leipzig taking the lead, but Augsburg pinning them back. So I'm going to say 2-2.
Okay, yeah. So the home run ends, but then on to the big one. Yeah, I think Rory, both of us should give a tip for this one. I think because this is obviously it's the game of the season. Let's be honest. Now, I mean, it's the two teams. Let's be honest. We're in a 2-horse race for the title this year, and this is as big as it gets. And I mean, Leverkusen, obviously, myself and Peter did the watch along, and I can't say how impressed I was in that second half. Really, I just thought it was a world-class second half, really. And from both teams, by the way, Stuttgart played really well in the game. That's the problem. And, Leverkusen was still able to find answers and beat them. I'm not sure, really, Stuttgart could have played that much better, realistically, in the game, and they still lost. So, that's a massive win. But at the same time, it would have taken a lot of energy out of them as well, which is it plays into the old foe Bayern Munich's hands, as per usual, I mean, they had a free week and they would have been just chilling, watching that game and knowing that this is a massive game. It's not going to decide the title. I don't read into that. People saying that the winner of this wins the title. I think it's too early to say that. But of course, it's going to be a massive game. For me, it's actually bigger for Leverkusen than for Bayern because I think if Leverkusen lose this game, people are going to start saying the wheels are going to fall off. I think even if Bayern lose it and they're 5 points behind, they'll still have belief that they can win it. And they will know that they've come from worse positions before. So, with that in mind, that there's so much to play at. All week, I was thinking that Bayern Munich were going to win the game, to be honest. I was thinking it's going to be typical Bayern Munich and they're going to get the result. But having watched Leverkusen against Stuttgart, I just feel as though the way they played it gave me confidence again, like a second wave of confidence in this Leverkusen side. The way they were able to dig out a win against that excellent Stuttgart side. And I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw, actually. I know that's going to disappoint some people, but I just think I can see Bayern leading this game for a period, probably quite late on. But I think Leverkusen are going to have an answer and stop them from getting that W in this one. So I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw. But it's going to be a great game, guys. You've got to watch this one, really. What do you think, Rory? We might as well do one each for this game.
Yeah, sure. Saturday afternoon, early evening is certainly, penciled very firmly into the diary. Everyone should tune in and watch this one. It will be a fantastic match. I'm kind of like you, really. I think there's been a number of things. Obviously, Bayern's injuries is definitely one thing. The player availability of both sides is going to be interesting. Is Palacios going to be fit enough to return for Leverkusen? Doesn't sound like he will be. Is Manuel Neuer going to be fit to start for Bayern? That's another big one. And obviously, the key players, the main protagonists for all sides, are going to have to step up and be completely on their A game. I can't wait to watch it. Obviously, what midweek has made me feel even more so is that there is just something inevitable about this Leverkusen side this season. Honestly, like you said, that second half was insane from them. Like Stuttgart literally gave everything to that. And Leverkusen still had the answers. So I will say, I'm going to say 3-1 to Leverkusen. I think they'll do the job, and like you say, it's a huge game. But like our good friend Alex, who came on the show a few weeks ago, said it is still just one game. It still counts as just 3 points or just 1 point. Things will naturally be blown out of proportion, whichever way around things go. But either way around, like you say, it will be a great, entertaining match football. So yeah, looking forward to it no end.
Yeah, it's a must watch for any football fan, let alone Bundesliga fan. Yeah, but I think it's going to be just like the cup game on Wednesday. You know, it's going to really showcase the quality of German football and everything that positive that this league can offer, basically. So you've got to watch it. Now it's going to be 0-0 after we said all that, isn't it?
Probably,
Yeah.
but we'll see.
But yeah, I mean, I guess the Sunday games are a case of after the Lord Mayor show in some ways, because, you know, it's probably not the most appetizing Sunday fixtures. But with the Bundesliga, you never know which games you're going to entertain. That's one of the great things about this league. The Hoffenheim Köln could easily be the game of the weekend, knowing the Bundesliga. So let's have a look at them. So Stuttgart Mainz, I mean, I watched the game last night and I think Mainz played well, really. I think Mainz played well, but they just cannot score goals. I don't know why, what it is, but you start to wonder whether they're just cursed this season, you know, because once again, their XG was well up over 2, you know, 2.4, 2.5, and they only scored 1 goal. And they had a penalty overturned for an offside and just everything. I mean, Union weren't bad as well. I actually thought, considering the quality of the pitch, the game was pretty high quality, actually. Both teams offered something in that match, but obviously Stuttgart also played on Tuesday night and they would have been run into the ground after that trip to Leverkusen. But for me, it's still got to be a comfortable home win. I mean, Stuttgart at home this season have been a machine, basically. They barely dropped any points. So I'm going to go for a 3-0, if I'm honest with you here. I just think Stuttgart will recover and win easy in this game.
Well, yeah, sounds good to me. If that can happen, that'd be great. Yeah, the lads did look a bit tired as that match went on, the Leverkusen game. But yeah, you know, especially if Guirassy comes back into the side, then if he's fit and firing, happy days. Yeah, we'll finish off then. Hoffenheim, Köln. Yeah, Hoffenheim very much in a nosedive form-wise. Don't play or don't seem to produce the goods so much at home either. So does this, you know, give Köln a bit of you know, a bit of a chance? Obviously to back up their great win from last weekend against Frankfurt. Certainly interesting. I don't think Köln will lose this game, but I just don't know if they'll win it either. So I might have to go for a 1-1 draw in that sense. I think now just, you know, any kind of positivity to keep on building on for Köln would be fine. Obviously, they need the wins, but yeah, a 1-1 draw against a no doubt still very attacking Hoffenheim side. Obviously, the big issue will be how being able to keep Hoffenheim to 1 or 2 goals, I think. Because if Hoffenheim feeling clinical and Bayer and Weghorst and Kramaric and Co, Bebu, etc., Budler, you know, hitting the target, then it will be a hard afternoon for them. But yeah, I'll stay with 1-1.
Yeah, so let's just have a quick look as well at the table too. If what we say is going to come true, then the 2-point gap between Leverkusen and Bayern would remain intact, but maybe more importantly, Leverkusen would remain unbeaten with Bayern out of the way in their fixture list as well. So for me, it's a case of definitely Leverkusen to be happier with the points here. They wouldn't admit that, but they definitely would be for me. But yeah, obviously a pretty sizable gap then of 8 points to third. I think we can pretty safely say it's a 2-horse race. Although Stuttgart are absolutely happy with third place at this moment. And then Dortmund just about actually extending their lead over a faltering RB Leipzig side in the top 4. Then Werder Bremen climbing into the top 7, which should be is most likely going to be a Conference League place as well. So although the fact that the cup is so unpredictable this year maybe means that one of these cup teams could get in there. Don't forget that as well. If a team like Kaiserslautern or Düsseldorf win it, it would throw the league into just a frenzy really with European places. You need to get in the top 6 to get European football in that case. And then down towards the bottom, it's pretty much as it were, you know, obviously as it's been for most of the season, really, with those bottom 3 down there. plugging away. Although Köln, it would be another useful point in their bid to, get into that playoff spot. Because for me, those bottom three, really, they're just playing for the playoff spot right now. I don't see any of those bottom three getting into 15th or 14th place, in truth. Although Union Berlin will be looking quite nice if your prediction comes true, Rory, heading actually above Bochum, which would be a little bit strange in some ways. But yeah.
Yep.
Thanks also to David as well. Some really nice comments as well. It was great to see you joining us as well. Yeah, you make a good point too about Bayer Leverkusen in the last 5 matches. You got Borussia Dortmund away, Bochum away, in Frankfurt. Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's never over till it's over. I mean, even if Leverkusen win this game and go 5 clear, then 2 bad results back to back, and it's as you were, basically. So
yeah,
everybody likes to big up these kind of fixtures, but it's absolutely, there's still way too far to go. There'll still be 13 games after this match, and more than enough time for one or the other to blow up, or maybe even Dortmund to come and make a late challenge. Who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah, thanks for your comments there, David, as well. Any closing thoughts, Rory, today?
No, not at all. Just really looking forward to the weekend. Going to be absolutely treated with Bundesliga and Six Nations to watch. So happy days.
Yeah, absolutely. A great sporting weekend on the cards this week. If you enjoyed what you saw today, then check out Over the Bar FB and Over the Bar Extra. Also, don't forget to leave a rating and review on our podcast. We're not only a Bundesliga, we're not only a YouTube channel. We also have podcasts too. So check out our anchor for that. Then also don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe as well to our information. So yeah, thanks a lot, guys. It was a pleasure. And we'll see you again on Monday for the review show. So thank you very much and see you then. Bye-bye, guys.